Engage.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Winners Don't Use Drugs, presented by Engage Gaming. This is episode 100. I'm Darius here with Nolan at about 85%.
100%.
100%, because that's right, 100%.
We'll go with that.
What's it feel like being at 100%?
It's been a long time.
And we got Zach. How you feeling?
I'm chilling.
Yeah. You on a sabbatical from gaming? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm still gaming. Just not diving into anything new.
That's right. Yeah,
I even having a hard time playing 2K.
They asked you to do any kick flips or indie grinds, anything like that?
I haven't even made it past the second game.
Oh, okay. Well, they'll give you a skateboard soon enough.
A skateboard? We're talking about basketball, right?
Yeah, we're talking about basketball, but when you go into the My Player thing, and usually you leave your house at some point because the game starts like you're in the neighborhood. Somehow the neighborhood is like next door to the arena of the team that you play for, but also it's everybody's neighborhood, so all of the other people that's playing the game, you see them outside too. But they give you a way to, traverse the area faster, right, than just running. Because we can't just you can't just open up a map and fast travel like that. You can, but you got to find subways. It's a lot of stupid stuff. But one of the ways you can get around the neighborhood faster is they'll give you like different things to ride. So you'll have a skateboard, a bike. What was it? One was a.
I have an electric skateboard right now.
So yeah, they
because I purchased the ultimate.
Oh, they give you an electric skateboard up front. But yeah, so there was a quest to get a better skateboard in the last 2K, and it was like you had to grind basically had to play Tony Hawk for a second. So you had to do like so many ramps and so many rails you had to do tricks on and all of this. And the dude was like, "Hey man, I really just want to play some basketball," which you don't have to do any of that stuff, but it's just funny. It's like, hey, this is the game that you bought to play basketball on. Would you like to earn the khaki pants and red shirt from Jake from State Farm? And they animate him really, really well. You want to go to the studio with the game or J. Cole or whatever rapper we got this year? And you're gonna do a quick time event where you pick your lyrics.
I'm always a fan of doing other stuff than whatever the game is. So
yeah.
Content's content. May not always be good, but at least they tried.
Yeah. Go into the barbershop, talk to Hannibal Buress,
There you go.
That's kind of cool, right? You spend some VC on some tattoos. You do also need those points in order to make your character better, so choose wisely. I'm sorry, 2K. I want 2K to be so much better from a user standpoint, not the actual gameplay, because me and Zach played a couple of games of it, and it feels like pretty smooth. Like the animations, the interactions and stuff like that between the players and just I can feel like I don't have to know how to play 2K as much as I just have to try to do what I believe to be basketball stuff. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it looks a lot more like smooth and everything. At one point, and this was like I guess it would have been the PS4 era, it started feeling like more and more you kept getting locked into animations. And like once an animation started, there was nothing you can do to stop it. So like he did a dribble and you think that you're following with him. So he went to the left, you go to the left, but the game's like he got ankle breaker on. So now you got to do the stumbling back animation. And it's like there's nothing you could do about it. It just has to happen. Doesn't feel like that as much, at least from what we did. We also weren't playing the My Player mode or the My Park, which is its own little nasty world of microtransactions and stuff. Can't get nobody to pick you up on your team, Nolan, if your overall rating is low. They show everybody's overall rating when you're walking around. So you got to spend spend money to get the VC, to put the points on your character so that people will pick you up. You also got to get some clothes because if you got the gray sweatpants and brown shirt, nobody's going to pick you up either. That's the default outfit.
That's what the outfit I'm wearing the entire time.
What did you say happened when you were going through the tunnel with your teammates? What they had on versus what you had on?
Oh, yeah. They had all these 3-piece suits, and I had the brown T-shirt and the sweatpants.
It's a real big prospect, guys. We want to keep an eye out on him. And, you know, could be one of those players. He sure knows his way around fashion, Bob. Back to you.
So apparently, so Baldur's Gate 3 came out for PS5 this last week.
Yep.
Apparently, it's having issues with split screen mode.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
With what?
With split screen.
Oh,
So I think, as we've talked about many a times,
I think it's a Baldur's Gate 3 problem, not a
it might
Series
be.
S or Series X or
I think it's
PS5
just
problem.
yeah. It's just that game just wasn't made to
I mean,
do
there's
that on a console.
Too much shit going on to
Yeah,
have split screen anyways.
They also talked about apparently when you get to, which I hadn't gotten to yet, just to let you know how much I hadn't made progress in that game. Apparently, Act 3 is a largely one map, and it's got a lot of NPCs and a lot of items, obviously everywhere.
Yeah, because I think it's in Baldur's Gate,
Yeah, and
which is the main city. So there's a bunch of shit going on.
and they're like, yeah, the PS5 is having trouble maintaining anything outside of 30 frames. So, which I mean, again, you're doing so much. I mean, I don't know if it's just like you said, just not something that's made for what the current consoles are doing. But then you add split screen to that, and this kind of goes back to when we were talking about Gotham Knights going from 4 players to 3 players, and all of this stuff. Is like, I understand what you guys are trying to do, what you have the intention of doing with these games, but sometimes we just ain't there yet.
Yeah,
We might be real close, but we're not quite there.
Not quite yet.
Yeah,
And it's funny, people are complaining like, well, back on the Xbox and PS2 days, we had all the split screen. It's like, but we also weren't detailing the foliage of
games
every
480i.
blade of grass.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a 480i. You talking about
4K.
We could do it. It's like no. You do understand that like the more you ramp up graphics, that's less memory for it to do other things like load the split screen. Like there's a finite amount of resources that the hardware has. I know you want all of it, and I know people like to complain the moment something isn't running at 100% optimal or whatever they decided that is. But you're asking these machines to compute all of this complex data, you know, in real time, and also be ready for whatever random thing that you do, and all of this happens seamlessly. Like it's, you know.
Plus, everybody gets butthurt about if it's not running at 3,000 frames per second.
Oh my goodness, I hate.
Especially for
somebody talks to me about frame rate, I'm like, you shut the fuck up.
Just please stop talking to me. Yeah. Like I don't care. Like if there's a clear difference between a game like frames, like this is choppy.
Right, if it's like running at like 15 frames per second, I get it. But if it's a difference between 120 and 90, get the fuck out of here.
It clocks out at 90 frames, bro. It's like. Cool, I guess. Is that
sounds good?
Not good enough.
It can't even maintain over 60. It literally locks it at 60. Yeah, it said 60 FPS is what it runs at. That's what the people who made it, they decided that this is how this runs, and you can't be mad that you don't get to like remove the restrictor plate on the T-Bird and all of a sudden, you know, have it going faster than it's supposed to. Like that's not what they designed their software to do. Yeah. Sucks for the people who purposely bought the console version to do that.
I mean, I'm sure they'll fix it eventually.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like, you know, with these games, like if a game is doing all of that stuff, and Larian has already said that they've constantly working on updates and patches and fixes to try to get it better and better.
Yep.
It's gonna happen.
It'll be fine.
But it does seem like the people I've talked to who have it for PS5, they are having a great time, man. And that's what matters.
That's all that matters.
Enjoy it. Have fun. You know, play the game, not critique the game. You cut the game on and start talking about, all right, you're at a 9. See if you can make it to a 10. Nope. Load too long. 8.8. It was 7.4 now. Sure, man. Turning video games into a dissertation. I feel like it's just we're losing the plot. What do we think about the Gearbox closing thing? Oh, well, not Gearbox closing, but Gearbox being up for sale. Is that a bad sign?
No, but
I mean,
it is what it is.
yeah.
They need people to fund games, and the best way to do it is have one of these big companies buy you out.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a lot of names that'll probably make them worth something. Obviously the biggest one, Homeworld.
That's probably why they're up for sale.
No.
Went to the potential buyers meter. So we got this game called Homeworld.
No. Obviously the
Shooty series.
yeah.
You know what probably got them ready to sell because they tried to make a movie off Borderlands.
Did that ever come out?
No,
It hasn't come out yet, has it?
So it's weird. It's like we know cast and all of this stuff.
They did a whole direct on it. I saw it.
And
I thought for sure that movie I thought it already came out.
You know, because movies get filmed and then they get set up and they figure out release windows and all of that stuff. But it feels like that movie should be done right. Like they should have filmed it already.
Yeah,
right?
it feels like it. I mean, it might be a lot of special effects and stuff.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come out August of next year.
Oh wow. Okay, so it's still a ways off.
Okay. Sure.
So that's something else that they could dangle is like, hey, the money we're going to bring in with this.
Look good what Super Mario did, dog. Video game movies make money now.
That's true. But yeah, Borderlands.
I mean, if Homeworld 3 does well for them, I think it'll be something else to kind of sweeten the pot for them.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Hopefully it'll do really well.
Yes, I'm saying like not just whatever their projected install base. Like if it becomes like an even bigger hit than what they think it may be.
Yeah,
that could that may have them not want to sell.
I don't know. I don't know what their internals look like or whatever, but if they're at a point where maybe some folks internally just want to take a buyout and say bye.
That's true. I don't know. It just makes me because like a company being purchased, like they happen all the time. Like companies get bought, they sell or whatever it is. It just feels like when you hear that like someone's actively looking for a buyer, it always makes you feel like is it bad out here?
I mean,
It could be.
Capcom was for a while.
Yeah.
Who was that? Somebody was trying to buy Ubisoft for a long time, and they fought it. Oh, who was that? I remember.
It was another dev. Like
I'm actually surprised
No, it
Sony
was
hasn't jumped on it yet.
dude, I was thinking about that too. Like it does seem like that would be something that Sony would be interested in. Is have Ubisoft.
No, I'm talking about Gearbox.
Oh, Gearbox. I mean,
See, I feel like if this was like 5 years ago,
Yeah, but they're so butthurt about Activision.
yeah, but
That's why they bought whatchamface, the last company they bought. That happened last year.
Bungie.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they would consider Gearbox on the same level.
As Bungie?
No, as Activision.
Or Activision.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Bungie isn't the same level as Activision. Nobody's the same level as Activision.
Yeah,
that's
but
up for
I
sale.
mean, they Bungie brings in a lot of money with just one game.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I feel like Gearbox's status has dropped over the last handful of years.
yeah,
Like they were.
I mean, nothing's gonna be as high as it was during Borderlands 2 era.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and
It's 'cause they can't
it's not a bad
adapt.
peak either to be like that was our biggest time.
I feel like they don't adapt to the way things change.
Yeah,
They've put out 2 games since that are pretty much the exact same thing. With Borderlands 3 and
there's
Tiny Tina's
there's
Wonderland.
nothing wrong with doing what works for you, but like you said, that it just never felt like the things they added to the games really felt like sequels.
right, this is the way that new games are going or something like that.
Yeah, because like I remember, like I have my issues with Borderlands 2 compared to 1, but even then it felt like this was the kind of next step in the series. Then they did like the pre-sequel. I'm like, hey man, I don't know about this. Like this is pushing it. And then they went back.
Well, I think they did it because everybody liked Handsome Jack as a villain.
I
Apparently,
remember that, but I just don't remember it being enough to get a game. When it happened, I was like, hey, man, I'm sure, but.
A lot of people liked him as a villain.
Bro, he was. I don't know. I just like I enjoyed Borderlands. I mean, I bought all of the games. I just didn't think he was that. Like, I thought the DLC to 2 was what was some of the best stuff about the game, not him per se. But yeah, I mean, they made the game and it did what it did, and you know, it's probably my least favorite game out of all of them. They just didn't feel as fun for whatever reason. But then Borderlands 3, I ended up really enjoying that. And then Tiny Tina's Wonderland, it's not bad, but they also they took the turret class out and made it DLC, and that kind of sucked because that was always the class I played in Borderlands. Because it means like if I'm by myself, then it's like I got a partner, got my turret. Mm-hmm. But also I felt like that game was like we're really trying to push this same thing as much as humanly possible. Because like the writing isn't terrible in it, but it's never gotten, like you said, it's never gotten better than 2. So
yeah, it just became a cash cow for them.
Yeah,
we'd just make a new one and get some money out of it and keep going until it doesn't work anymore. But yeah, it's like maybe they're planning for what the next thing was. Was it so great? Because I mean, they bought a lot of, like when THQ went down, they bought a lot of stuff from them. And THQ had just bought a lot of stuff before they went out of business, so they bought a lot of stuff. That's how they ended up with Homeworld. They bought it from THQ, who bought Relic. So they have a lot of stuff, and that you know, I don't know anything about the setup of it at all. But they might be setting it up to where, hey, we have a lot of, you know, kind of known games that somebody might want to come and do something with. You know, we got Homeworld 3 coming out next year, so you already got that. You know, you got that money coming in. We already paid for it, so you know you can just get in on the money side. But other than that, they got what we talked about earlier, Brothers in Arms, that
just had a pinball cabinet come out.
Yeah, apparently.
You know, get on that.
That, you know, back when I was playing it was you know, it wasn't like a huge deal, but it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the game. I remembered a couple of the games. I don't remember as many as they end up being. Apparently,
well, they apparently went hard. They went hard and heavy on the handheld and cell phone side.
Yeah,
wasn't aware of that. But the first two
kind of hoard that out, huh?
Yeah, I mean, again, get the money. Why not? But yeah, we played the first two to death. So they were really good games, and then there was supposed to be one that more recently, and then they just quietly canceled it, I guess, because there was 2 trailers for it. Then there was another trailer for it after like 2 or 3 years of not hearing anything about it, and then we never heard anything again. So
well, I feel like they I don't know, the missteps that they had with stuff like the aliens, colonial marines, and all that stuff. It's like things just their ceiling kept going down, and it would just get worse and worse, and it seemed like it bled into the quality of other stuff.
That aliens thing was
nasty.
Yeah, because they bought that with the intention of finishing it. Because who was making it before?
Oh my goodness, I can't
Sega?
remember. Yes, it was a dev team that was being funded by Sega. Basically. Yeah,
and then they bought it with the intention of fixing it, finishing it, and they didn't do either, apparently, from what I heard. I still know one guy who will go to his grave defending that game. He absolutely loved it, but he's a big Aliens fan.
Well, they said like the skeleton of the game, like the general idea of what you were supposed to be able to do, was the reason why they bought it. You know, because they were like, oh no, that sounds like a great idea. That could really work. And then, like you said, they were supposed to finish it, which meant fixing. And they did none of that. And wasn't there something about money getting funneled over to like Borderlands or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Like they were using it as a way to like, I don't know, cover up Borderland losses or something.
I mean,
it was weird, but it was just like, yeah, this game is bad. Like the moment it was released to be played, it was like, oh no, this is bad.
It's bad, yeah.
Like, and bad in a way of not just this isn't a fun experience, but like it's not working bad.
Yeah.
Like, the game wasn't like it just didn't work.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it was a Duke Nukem issue. Like, I don't know who ended up releasing that.
Duke Nukem Forever?
Yeah.
Might have been No, I was thinking it was 2K.
No, it wasn't Gearbox.
Was it 2K games?
I forgot who ended up doing it, but I remember playing it.
I never even thought about playing that game.
And I remember thinking to myself,
Gearbox.
it was Gearbox?
Developed by Gearbox, published by 2K.
Yeah. Well, they finished development too.
Yeah, because that thing went through a bunch of people.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was
had
Gearbox.
1, 2, 3, 4 different development teams.
Yeah. I mean, because that game had been in development
like 15
since,
years,
probably something like that.
It wasn't that long. It was, let me see.
Must have been like 8 or 9 at least.
Well, there was the original announcement about it.
Yeah.
I know it was 15 years.
Yeah. It was because it was like
it was 96 was when it first announced.
I was about to say I was in high school when they first announced.
Like, dude, the thing, Duke. First, okay, let me ask you this.
I thought for some reason I was thinking it was early 2000s, but
Well, that's when folks started hearing about it because it kind of became a kind of a joke.
That it was never coming out. Well, like it was. So I never got on like. The 90s was a wild time anyway. Like the transition from like SNES and Genesis to over to PlayStation 64 and then PC really getting like some
more mainstream.
Yeah. Duke Nukem was just I could never I got it, I played it, I'm like, okay, this doesn't play bad.
I've never played with Duke Nukem before.
Yeah. I mean they're kind of like a niche within a niche.
They're like
almost.
a Doom almost, but
Well,
like
that's what it was. It was like
it was
third person Doom, right? So it was
it
like
was third person.
Yeah, it was.
No, it was first person.
Yeah, see, I thought it was first.
PlayStation version was third person.
Oh, I'm talking about the real
original.
ones.
Dr. Blue.
Like the original one. Like
the original. Yeah, it was basically it was a Doom clone.
It was a Doom clone. Yeah. But
with comedy, right?
Yeah, he was like you fighting
Yeah,
the greasy pig demons, and then he was making a bunch of one-liners.
You were saving the strippers and
Yeah, that was he was saving strippers.
yeah.
It was like the Chex game.
Yeah, Chex game was better though. Beating aliens with the spoon.
Doom clone.
Yeah,
You never seen the Chex game?
I think I heard about it before, but
they just released one like a few years ago.
Well, they re-released it.
It was a re-release.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was a Chex game. It was a game that you could get while if you bought Chex.
If you bought checks, yeah.
Yeah.
We used to eat checks all the time. I don't recall there being a free game that came with it, but
Oh yeah, it was like
maybe that was
like
after we stopped eating checks.
It was for PC too. It was only for PC.
Only for PC.
You got a CD and you installed it on your PC.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few other ones too, but the Chex one was the best one because they literally just like Doom cloned it. So everybody else was trying to make like the Captain Crunch game, like they were trying to make actual like platformers and stuff, and they were like, "What if we just do like Doom?"
I mean, Doom is freeware. Can't we just change a couple of things and?
So this is
yeah. Wow.
But just imagine like you getting this in like 90, 97, 98 and like and it working like this well, and you'd be like, "Hey, wait a minute, hold on now."
Yeah, it was a great idea. Just take a shareware game and put a skin over it. You're done.
And like a lot of kids who couldn't get games like Doom, because I know people,
Because of blood and stuff.
Yeah, like blood and demons and all of that. It's like, hey, but you could play this though, and you just,
I played the hell out of this game.
this game made rounds. Like
There ain't no way my mom was letting me play Doom.
Chex Mix though.
Chex Mix.
Badass. You see young Zach in this room? Badass. But yeah, they reskinned all the guns.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, Duke Nukem was like, I just remember because like I said, most of the people I knew, nobody really had PCs, and it would be like the game that like somebody's older brother would play. Because because he's talking about saving strippers, and he's like, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum and all of that, and it was like, oh, okay, but nobody really like when you said earlier, Zach, about the industry or like gaming passing a series by. Duke Nukem, it was very apparent really fast that like gaming like jumped it within a matter of a year or so. So by the time Duke Nukem Forever was supposed to come out, every time they would show it, they would try to make it look like whatever gaming was at the time, and they could never.
I think that's what messed it up, because there was another game. at the time that was like in development hell for the longest time before it finally came out. God, it was from the original makers of Doom.
StarCraft Ghost?
No.
That wasn't in development hell. They just canceled that.
Yeah, it did. Hey man, I never at the time seen a game get like a full front page feature of some magazines.
Oh, I remember it was a big deal.
And then it was just like, so it's not.
It's probably like one of the very first mainstream games to be canceled like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Released it, Blizzard.
Yeah. But no,
I mean, obviously there was canceled games before that, but
what was the name of that
mainstream
shooter? Because he had like a sword that Katana. Katana?
Oh yeah, Daikatana. Yeah. No, didn't Daikatana end up coming out?
It did eventually come out.
Okay, yeah.
But
It was bad.
I think those two games had the same thing. You know, everything was starting to move to 3D.
Yep. I know exactly.
And it was like, okay, we can make it look like this. Wait, and this was during the time when GPUs were really starting to come out. And I mean, they were coming out like every month. And all of a sudden, there's new tech, and now we can add this many more polygons, and now we can do lighting effects. Okay, let's add all of that stuff in. And right when they've put that in and they start to cook that game, well, now there's a new card out. Now you can do this and this and this. Well, I want that in the game too, so now you got to put that in. And I know that's what happened to that game.
Well, they had the issue with the was it the Quake engine at the time? Like there was a new Quake, it was like Quake 2 engine or something came out.
Well, Quake 2 was like the big. That was like the big 3D game. That and Wing Commander 3 were like the games that were like, this is why you want
certain games that you personally want to be on that list, and I understand, but you just snuck Wing Commander in there real smooth.
No, seriously, Wing Commander, the Wing Commander games, even the old 2D games were like the games that you showed somebody to show them what your PC could do. But yeah,
is this Daikatana?
yeah,
okay, yeah, it's Daikatana.
All these games look the same to me back then. Turok and Unreal and.
But the issue is, you know, Quake 2 comes out and it shows everybody, because really Quake 1 did it, but Quake 2 was the big one, just like, you know, Wolfenstein was actually the first person 2D game.
And then Doom
but Doom was the one that everybody kind of blew it up. So, but yeah, Quake 2 was really the one that was like, hey, this is why you want to get a card. And everybody's trying to chase after that, but you're also trying to be better than that because it's kind of the flag bearer. But the tech at the time was just improving so much that the development couldn't keep up with it. And every time you have to every time you implement something new, where that's more development cost on. And now you got to go back and now, okay, well, we were doing this and now we got to work in DirectX, and that's completely different from the architecture we using before, which means we got to redo all the stages and, you know, make this, that, and this work. And by the time they're done with that, old dude was like, no. There's this new thing out now. We have to put that in. It's like, I just got DirectX to work. Oh, okay, fine. Well, what is this? Oh, well, this is completely new architecture again. So now we got to start over, and this game was finally pushed out because I think they just couldn't afford to keep trying to make it better. But the issue is, these games at the rate that they were being made, they were never going to keep up with what it was, and they were going to look old
every time they came out.
Every time they came out, and by the time Daikatana came out, it looked really old.
Yeah. It was like I keep wanting to say Clive Barker's Jericho, but that's not the game I'm thinking about. But there was a game that came out that was supposed to be like, this is why we need to Steven, because Steven would have remembered this game. But it was a PC game, and it was like when it was getting ready to come out, it was supposed to be like, oh, it does all this stuff and everything. And then we didn't hear about it for like, I don't know, 15 months. And then Steven showed up with it and was like, yeah, remember that game I was telling you all about? And he loaded it up, and it's like, well, this ain't bad, but this ain't what they promised. Or at least this isn't what we thought it would be at the time. Or like you said, something came out and it's like, now this is old news. But that's the problem with trying to chase stuff. Yeah. Like make your game.
Just make your game exactly.
Make your game as good of a game that it can be, and not try to be like you said, they would I remember seeing PC games during that time. I used to go, you know, like I didn't have a PC, but I would look at PC Magazine all the time because like PC Gamer or whatever. Yep. And I'd be like, hey man, a lot of these games look like the same game.
PC Game World, PC Games and computer entertainment, yeah, you can read them all.
And like, I would want to play some PC games because I would either have a friend who had one, or like, you see some of the stuff and it's like, oh, this is really cool looking. But a lot of times, like during that, like you said, the Quake 2, all that stuff, it was like all those games look like the same game. It's like, oh, either it's set in some alternate world where it's like monsters and space and all of this, or it's, the Earth is destroyed and it's the year 2500 or something. But it would just be like, hey, I just keep releasing the same game over there,
That's what worked at the time.
Did it?
I mean, that's what folks bought.
I mean, what other options did you have?
At the time, it was a lot. I mean, it was like 1992. Street Fighter 2 comes out, and then all of a sudden, if you like fighting games, you had choices. All right, they may not all been good, but there were plenty of choices.
Fighting games called it two ways though, because they called it from Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
and so it got really nasty real fast. With like we can't make a fighting game that was complex and smooth as Street Fighter, so we just gonna let you kill people.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to do tattooed assassins? Mm-hmm. You want to do what was it? And this game is terrible, but I still loved it. Time Killers. Time Killers is awful. But you could also end the fight as soon as the match starts, cut their head off. Yep. Game over.
Yep.
You could do that in Bushido Blade.
But hey, first of all, we talking about good. We talking about bad games. Bushido Blade is a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Square.
Yeah.
You wanna really rock the boat? You wanna really jump into this?
I mean,
what do? You saw Street Fighter, right? You saw it. Okay. Tekken's going to come out. Mortal Kombat's coming out this week. Like, hey, it would be prime time with the whatever engine you're on, the Black Mage 3 engine. Is that what they're using right now?
I don't know.
the Ifrit engine? Is that what we're doing? Whatever engine you're doing, imagine putting that.
Man, could you imagine?
With a Bushido Blade game?
Bushido Blade looking like FF16.
There is a Bushido Blade kind of out.
No, whatever it is, it's not Bushido Blade. It's not made by Square.
Yeah.
I need them to take all the energy that they be putting to not make a Blitzball game, because we still owe that as well. I'll never let that go either. Okay. I just saw Brave Fence and Musashi talking. They were talking about a remake of that game, and I'm like, come on, bro, don't do that to me.
Why?
Hey, watch stifle yourself.
I don't care that you liked it. I didn't.
The first one or the second one?
Either one of them.
Well, the second one, I have no idea what's going on. He looks like Sora and stuff like that, so I'm super out.
Well, it was one of those ones that it was kind of being touted as a Zelda killer, so that automatically is like, okay.
But did anybody who had rational thoughts say that? Because I remember seeing the advertisement. I bought Brave Fence Musashi. Like I spent like $40 on that game, which is
we rented it.
But I used to see that in like Game Pro and all that stuff. Is like, this is gonna be PlayStation Zelda killer. It's like, hey man, we just need a action adventure game that don't suck.
Yeah.
Because we were getting stuck with stuff like Ninja and all of that. And it's like, okay, we didn't need a Zelda killer. We didn't need somebody to counter Ocarina of Time. I just needed a good action adventure game with a protagonist. He had voice acting. For Brave Fence and Musashi is a great game. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't say it was a bad game. I just didn't care for it.
Yeah. But we can get a remake of that, instead of you trying to make Dissidia and all this other weird stuff that we don't want.
I kind of wanted that, but anyway.
You wanted Dissidia?
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, I didn't understand what it was. Like I played the PSP version, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what is the game? I beat it. I just don't understand what was happening.
Kane versus Kefka. I mean,
yeah, but when you play it, it's just like it's like playing Blades or something. It was weird.
Yeah, the gameplay was a little weird.
What like how do you fight? Like I knew how to do moves, and I'm like, I still don't feel like I'm fighting the other person. I feel like I'm just getting mana to do moves, and then like I did my move first, so I go to the next stage. And
yeah, it was a little weird, but if you were like us at the time, big FF fans. It was
I loved all of the callbacks and seeing all the characters.
Seeing all the characters.
Everybody had like their boss version to go against and all of that. Like it was good. That was cool. They had cutscenes in it, but also
but
when the match started, it's what are we doing?
A little weird.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Don't get me jazzed up talking about Bushido Blades and all of these.
We played it too. We played the spiritual successor. It was good.
Didn't you get it on Steam?
Yeah.
Or was it like a demo or early access?
It was early access. It's called Hellish Court.
There we go.
It was actually really good.
No, it is solid, but I need that full package of like, because I like going through the story mode of Bushido Blade. Like that was really fun, kind of seeing all the paths and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't gonna make one.
I know, man.
Fighting that freaking guy with the gun on the rooftop.
Lee, hey, you don't know how to sidestep? Because if you don't know how to sidestep, the game is over for you.
Over.
He's gonna kill you every single
time.
Did you ever do like playthroughs where you change the camera to like first person and all of that?
I don't know if we ever played through like that, but I don't know we definitely played with it. And
but it does makes the gunfight against him way easier because you can see you can see his little tails before he shoots the gun. Don't try to block the gun. For whatever 4 people that hear this and like, oh yeah, I know about Bushido Blade. You can't block it, okay? I know you think you can. I know you think you can time it, and you can't. Just sidestep and go on to the next fight.
They added VR to Hellish Court.
Huh. You've had my interest, but now you got my attention. Oh. That does it have the feedback vest for it?
oh wow.
It's time to lock in. Listen, you telling me that when you saw the thing that Sega had back in the day, where you stood in it and did the moves with the ring, you telling me that you weren't excited?
I kind of wanted one.
I know you did. It's okay. They showed them do the grand up on Streets of Rage, and you was like, I could be doing that. Of course, yeah. Yep. But then also, did you ever use one? Because I didn't. I just saw videos.
I never even saw one.
Saw videos of it not working at all.
It's like the game glove. We knew somebody with a game glove, and we used to ask him, "Can you please show us how it works?" Because I don't know, in our heads, it was basically like
saw the wizard.
Well, I never saw that actually.
You ever seen the wizard?
No, never seen it. To this day, I've never seen it. But I know what it's about.
So bad.
But in our head, the game glove is like, you can control the game with your hand and stuff. But I guess in reality, it was just like pad on a glove.
Well, most of the games. So like, all right. So they had the motion thing built in it, right? But because they knew, and everybody knew that most games weren't going to have any real support for it, they had to try to put like a controller functionality on the forearm part. Yeah. So that's why you have all that stuff. But also, you have all of these like dials and notches or whatever because you have to calibrate it for each game. So when you get the Power Glove, there's a book that comes with it that has like all the games that were released at the time. And it's like, to sync it to this game, you got to set it to this. For this game, you got to set it to that. Because like Rad Racer, you could do the, back and forth thing.
That's cool. I used to love that game.
And it came, I know there was a bundle that came with glove ball because that was the other big thing because you could throw the ball at the thing and then catch it and throw it back, which, I mean, you're playing like racquetball with yourself, but like, it's virtual. It was kind of cool. But other than that, it was awful.
Yeah, he hated it.
Yeah.
And we used to just say, can you just show us one thing? It's like, no.
He probably didn't have a book. He probably lost the book and then he couldn't calibrate it to the right frequencies.
Y'all know about the what the fuck was it? I'm trying to find. Oh, the U-Force for the NES.
Which one is that? That's not the piloting thing, right?
No, this is where it tracked your hands.
Go ahead and pull it up. I need to see.
All right, let me see if I can find it.
Because I know that like the Power Glove was that wasn't even a Nintendo thing. It was still a third party thing, right?
I think it was there. It was
a license.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it didn't work like it was licensed.
They were trying stuff at the time. What was it, Rob?
Hey.
I never understood. I remember
play some Gyromite with Rob. He can help you because there are certain levels in Gyromite that you cannot beat without Rob. So we couldn't beat the game because we didn't have Rob, and when we thought we got a Rob, it did not work.
We used to see it in Kmart, I think, and they had one set up. But I kind of remember this thing.
Angry Video Game Nerd did a thing about Nintendo peripherals.
I kind of remember seeing this thing.
Yeah, it's
the U-Force. Use your hands to control the game. You just wave your hands over the board.
Wow.
I mean, but how is it not going to fail? How are you not going to lose trying to like wave your hand? Like imagine playing Contra.
Oh God!
And trying to like,
maybe that's how you beat Contra.
I assure you that's not how you beat Contra. You know how you beat Contra? Up, down, left, right. Yeah, up, down, left, right,
left,
right.
right.
BA, select, start. Because we're playing 2 players, Nolan. So don't just press start. You cheating something. Because now we only got 15 lives because I'm going to use your lives to get into the game.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me. There were a lot of there was a lot of misses going on during all those times.
I mean, it was a brave new world.
Yeah.
You know, you had the game crash of '83 and thought games were over. So
you got to say
Nintendo comes out in '85 and saves everything, and hey, everything's new. Let's try it. Oh, I guess that didn't work. That's cool. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
I want someone to use a power glove while using the U-Force while they're standing on a trackpad.
You know there was somebody out there.
First of all,
you know somebody.
You can't do that because it would tear a hole into the space-time continuum. Okay.
But you know somebody tried.
You had to have first of all, you had to have a multi-tap to get all of those devices.
Oh yeah, I was about to say yeah. He was an engineer. He built something where he could try to plug every peripheral in at the same time to try to use it. Somebody tried. I guarantee it.
And he had a turbo controller at the same time.
Oh yeah,
just to take it up a notch.
The NES Max.
Max.
I still got that thing.
We're getting one of those.
Yeah, we got one on the way, baby.
Oh really?
Inbox, baby. Yeah.
I still got one. It still works.
Yeah. It's coming in box.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely don't have the box for it anymore.
Yeah, it's
we got some cool things coming.
Yeah, we got some really cool and interesting stuff to have at MobileCon.
We got inbox Metroid.
The original?
The original.
Nice.
2 of them.
2 of them. Dose Metroids. Want to give some kids
the first Metroidvania to be made.
We got
technically Castlevania 2 would have been, but okay.
Is that the one where you got to kneel down in front of the wall to get the tornado to come get you?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I want you know what I want?
Day nights.
I want a new Castlevania. Kind of like Metroid Dread.
Konami, hey, you got to talk to them.
No, because most of them
let what's his name announce a new Bloodborne game and watch all of a sudden.
Is it Bloodborne or Bloodstained?
Bloodstained. Sorry, I always say Bloodborne. Yeah. Bloodstained, which apparently they're coming out with new DLC for soon.
Really?
Yeah, I think like next
Didn't they
month?
because the Bloodstained should be next because they did the old school one, right? Don't they do the old school one and then they do the Bloodstained and then they do the old school one?
Well, yeah, because
they just did the one that was
that's
co-op.
right. They just announced that and part of this Bloodstained DLC. So I think the free DLC they added more bosses to like the boss run thing where you could play as the bosses. But then they're also doing a story thing that's like a backstory for one of the main enemies of the game. So you see that backstory.
Gotcha.
But that's what's happening in Bloodstained. But yeah, they did 2 of those like old school.
Yeah, because one of them was co-op, simultaneous co-op.
It must have been the second one. I played the first one.
Yeah. It's the second one.
It was great. It was hard.
It is hard,
but it was good. It was worth it. It was worth the play.
I don't like to do recreational trauma by playing those games.
I mean, I loved it because they even made it look like an old 8-bit game when they clearly didn't have to. It had like all the quirks and everything.
Yeah,
but it was actually really good.
Yeah, I what is the name of that dev?
Oh shoot.
Because you know what I found out? The dev that made The Messenger is the same people that made Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Did not realize that.
I heard it's supposed to be in the same world. I don't know if that's true or not. But
yeah, I've seen a couple people say that it's supposed to be. There are things like I never beat The Messenger.
I never played it
because
I played it briefly.
Goddamn hard. It's like, bro, I like the idea of Ninja Gaiden. I don't need you to recreate Ninja Gaiden for me. Like Ninja Gaiden, but also we giving you more tools so that we can give the enemies more tools.
Exactly.
And you have to deal with the fact that they have more stuff.
Exactly.
No, I was like, I started playing. I'm like, this is really cool cutscenes and stuff. Oh, you want me to do all of that and also have to fight stuff? With like the platforming and all that, I was like, "Oh, come on, bro!
Yes.
I gotta feel like a speed runner trying to get through this."
Exactly.
Yeah, no. Listen, I get it, but it's the same reason why. Like, what's the game that you guys love to play? Celeste. Like, bro, I can't.
I finished that game.
Super Meat Boy was another one. I'm like, this ain't bad. I'm glad it is out.
Yeah.
I bought Super Meat Boy. I ain't finishing it, and I don't plan. I have no thoughts about not finishing. I feel just fine.
Celeste was one of those games that everybody told me so much about that I had such high hopes for it. And it's not that it's a bad game at all. And I did finish it, but it was one of those games that I was upset that I didn't love it as much as everybody else did. So, but it's a good game if you like platforming games where you don't really actually fight anything until near the end.
And the second one's supposed to have a lot more combat, right?
No.
Or is that not? It's not Celeste.
It's not Celeste.
It's made by the same people, but it's supposed to be. It looks like a Metroidvania.
Yeah, there's a newer one. Yeah. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, if we could get another Castle, like
I have it on my wish list. I can't remember what it's called.
The Lords of Shadow stuff started off really well, but as always, Konami has to Konami themselves and push the developer out the way. But if we could get and it's crazy because they just announced on the Netflix just announced the second story of the Castlevania series or whatever, and it's like, yo, we can't really get a game. Like you put them in Dead Cells. And
I don't understand why we're not getting a brand new 2D Metroidvania game. Like,
bro, you could literally just remake the old ones.
Remake Symphony of the Night. I've been saying that for years. If they just did like an update to Symphony of the Night with HD, HD sprites and stuff, that's all you got to do. I'd be in 100%
easily. And the crazy part was, remember when they did the 360, the PS3 360 arcade game, the Castlevania. And I'm like, so what is this? Because this clearly you're just taking assets from what would be an HD Symphony of the Night and just putting it in this weird game, which wasn't terrible and it was free, but it was we should have just got an HD Symphony of the Night. But also I need them to still have the die monster. You don't belong here.
Well, that's the thing, because the last remake of Symphony of the Night that they made or re-release or whatever, they changed the voice acting.
Yeah, it's the iOS one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was
because then they went and released it on something else, and it was just like folks were like, "Oh no!"
But that's a thing that nobody talks about. It's like when things go to the mobile platforms, they always figure out a way to make them just not as good.
Yeah,
like they never just port things. They're like, "No, you like all the Final Fantasies? You know how we could just port them? Nah, let's like make them weird looking."
Yeah, especially 3. I was 6. I was so disappointed.
Oh yeah,
the sprites in 6 just look so bad.
They look cheap.
It's like they why
they
mess with perfection?
They did the same thing to 5 because I bought 5 because I'm like that's like one of my favorites of the old style Final Fantasies, and I'm like, okay, I got to play Final Fantasy 5 on the go. This is gonna be fun. Why they look like that? Why is it like washed out and rounded and?
I mean, maybe they did that so the characters would stand out more on a smaller screen. But then you put it on PC and don't give me the option to at least go back to the original sprites. I got to download a mod.
Well, that and also you had other games the other games are already on there look fine.
Yeah,
like Dragon Quest looks fine on there. Like you just didn't have to do that. And then they had to come out with the Pixel remaster so they could sell it one more time.
Which I'm looking forward to that going on sale, and I will get it because I thought they were just going to be like, okay, so these are just going to be basically the original games with not much added to them. No, they redid the soundtracks for all of them. Because I watched somebody play 4 and a little bit of 6, and I was like, I didn't realize that they actually.
I saw the intro to 6, that first little cutscene when you're walking with Biggs and Wedge, and I was like, hey. Yeah, I see it. I see you.
Yeah,
I see
it's,
you.
Oh, okay. There's like some lighting effects on there.
Yeah, you see.
And this music is this. I mean, this is the original music, but this is an actual orchestra playing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. I might have to get this.
Oh yeah, but I'm not going to pay you full price.
But I'm not paying $80 for it. I'm sorry. I want them all in one shot, but I just don't want to pay $80 for it.
It's Square. Listen, if I get on Steam and they tell me there's a publisher sale and it says Square, they'll be like up to 80% off. There's one game that's going to be 80% off, and it's the game you absolutely don't want. Yep. And then everything else will be like 15% off.
At max.
And I'll be like, bro, that's not a sale. They're like, oh, look, Strangers in Paradise, 30% off. It's like, bro, you couldn't hit me with the 50. I give you 30 for the game. You can't hit me with the 50? Nah. Yeah. You want Dragon Guard 1? We'll give you that for 80% off.
That's the 80% off game.
No, I don't want that one. You know I don't want that one. Well, I don't really know what you want. Or they'll be like, you want Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2 remake for $9? We'll give you that. Because normally it's $50 for some reason. I've already got it. That's too late. It's already, I already bought it on PS3. Then I bought it on PS4. And I got it digitally. I don't need it again.
Yeah.
I might get it.
Yeah.
You know, Super Bomberman R2 comes out tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah. Might have to pick that up.
Yeah, we got to pick that up. Bomberman does surprisingly well when we tell people that it exists for the Switch. Because every once in a while, people ask us, like, you know, what do y'all have? Or, like, what's a good game? Especially if it's like a group. Like, what's a good game to play? It's like Bomberman. Because, one, you get to figure out who is unnecessarily competitive. Because, and it'll a lot of times it'll be the person who hasn't really played Bomberman. They're like, yeah, I think I know about that. And then they'll be like, okay, so what do? We drop bombs? It's like, yeah, you drop bombs, you blow up spots, and you get power-ups. And then it's like, well, how do you win? It's like, oh, you put the bombs against each other. Oh, you blow each other up. And then you'll see like the fire in their eye the first round they play. And all of a sudden it's like they making traps and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, they got Zach over here kicking bombs at you at the last second. Nasty.
Come get it.
My oldest brother, he was, out of all the different games that he was really fond of, he really, really, really likes Bomberman. Or at least back then he really liked Bomberman. Because he would be the one that would rent it. And he'd be like, oh, that's right. They do got Bomberman for Super Nintendo. And it's really, really cool. And bosses and stuff, and the actual single-player modes, every once in a while, the single-player modes are really, really good. But sometimes they're, like, really mediocre as well.
You remember that one they made on?
I knew you was gonna bring that up. I felt it. I felt it in my spirit.
The 360 one?
Bro, you don't have to bring that up. What did you gain by doing that?
No, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I know about that game, Zach. You know about that game. You don't remember Bomberman Extreme or whatever they tried to call it?
Whatever it was called,
Bomberman Master Chief.
What?
Look up Bomberman Xbox.
Look up Bomberman Xbox. Yeah,
Bomberman Xbox.
It was the Xbox game.
They were rebranding Bomberman for the Xbox 360.
Yeah, it was bad. I don't know who that was supposed to appeal to.
You know, it was supposed to be appeal to Dude Bros. He throws bombs, bro.
Yeah, it's just like,
bro, why can't I fucking type? I broke something.
Yeah, Discord came up.
I don't understand why Discord came up.
But yeah, that was an interesting game.
Now listen, they were trying to do a lot of stuff with the 360 to get
It was on the 360?
Yeah.
Not the original Xbox?
No. I think it was
I'm pretty sure it was 360.
Is it Bomberman Act Zero?
Yeah.
That's it.
Just look at poor Bomberman. Look what they did to my boy. They massacred him.
They tried to make a edgy, gritty, realistic one that folks in the West would like.
Oh, it looks like Samus.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had like the I remember the picture of him having like greenish tint armor that looked kind of like Master Chief, or maybe that was just
I thought it was like brownish.
Was it brown?
I thought it was more brown. Yeah, that's what I remember in my head anyway.
Put a picture. But yeah, that was the weird thing is like the cover looked all extreme, and then you got
but then you get the game and it's like, oh, okay, it's the same game.
Yeah,
but
visually it's weird though.
Darker and
because he didn't drop bombs like regular bomb looking thing. They look like orbs. Like
I remember this case.
Yeah. There we go. I was like, I know you saw it at GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
I never realized it was a Bomberman though.
It wasn't, but it was.
It was, but it wasn't. Yeah.
This was a very weird time. Like again, hats off to them for trying to, make it appeal to everybody, like the 360. But like, yeah, they were just, my goodness, they were just doing stuff.
Yeah.
And they still never got the Japanese audience on board.
No.
You mean Japanese audience doesn't like Bomberman?
They like Bomberman. They don't like whatever this is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the way you said it made it sound like they didn't like Bomberman in general.
No. They dress up
this
like
was their attempt to get them to.
No, this was the attempt to make Bomberman appeal to the West, even though Bomberman, I felt like it was never like not. It wasn't like a huge game, but like it was. It was successful, right? Like people bought Bomberman, like
and it was something to hopefully get Japanese folks to buy an Xbox because hey, you all like this Bomberman game. Check this out.
Yeah, because I think the last
one. If they
one,
wanted Japanese to buy it, they wouldn't have changed it the way they did.
We need both of y'all to buy it.
Yeah.
So we say Bomberman name, and then we make them look how like you just saw
that,
and and then everybody will be on board, and then we get all the monies, and then we become the #1 gaming console, and everybody loves Microsoft, and they don't just call us the Excel company, even though we've made a stupid amount of money on Office and all the versions and things within it. That's not good enough. We need to be number one in this other thing over here. And Nintendo would have just let us buy them, we wouldn't have had this problem.
Pour one out for WordPad, by the way.
Pour one out for Word. It's gone?
They're getting rid of WordPad in 11, yeah.
Why?
They said,
we're tired of your freeloaders.
Basically. That's I mean, it's got stuff that's already in Word. It's like it's more powerful than the normal Notepad, but it's not quite as powerful as Word. Most folks just use the stuff that you would use in WordPad. They just go use Word anyway, and plus they want everybody to sign up for 365, and why is this even here? Let's just go ahead and get rid of it. And it's like, why get rid of it? I mean, it doesn't do anything, so whatever.
Yeah, we don't have to code it in no more, none of that. No new versions of it. Stop typing up stuff in WordPad and get the subscription. Okay, to Office 365.
Right. Well, apparently there's a free version of Office now that you can get that I'm sure.
I'm just going to start using Notepad.
I just use Notepad anyway if I'm just writing down quick notes,
Yeah, we got a lot of Notepad documents.
Yeah, we do.
I did like WordPad because you could you could format text a little bit, and if you needed something quick but a little more fancy, I used to impress. My mom. That's right. She was in ARN, and she was the treasurer for a while, but she had me do all the stuff, and I would type up the stuff in WordPad and format it, and put italics in it, and bowls, and
membership dues are due now.
They'd be so impressed. They say, this looks so good. I was like, I just typed it up in WordPad, whatever. But yeah. So anyway.
So before we get ready to, last thing, I think Switch 2.
The next Switch, whatever you want to call it.
Do you think they keep the handheld aspect of it? I hope they do.
I know they do because that was part of the leak.
Oh, okay. So the leak was that they do have the.
It is still in handheld. So what we're talking about? Gamescom. What 2 weeks ago now?
Yep.
Nintendo was there, but they didn't really do anything.
They did that 15-minute direct about the treehouse for Mario Wonder.
Well, yeah, that was after the fact.
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah, that was last week. That's what I was saying. They really didn't do anything like externally for Gamescom.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew there must have been a reason they were there. And my suspicion was always that this is where they were going to announce the new console. Because why else would they be there? Why else would they
be in person?
There. But then the word started coming out that, their newer console probably is not coming out to the end of the year, so don't expect to see anything at Gamescom. It turns out the reason that they were there is because they were meeting up with a bunch of third-party developers to get them hands-on time with the new Switch behind closed doors. So, from what we've heard,
word in
the industry, is that it's still a handheld. The game that it will play all old Switch games. The game that they used to show off its abilities was Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I kept reading that, and I kept thinking,
really?
I was like, am I tripping? Because they kept saying,
you mean Tears of the Kingdom, right? No.
No, Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Okay. But so everybody was like, it
4K like 60 frames though.
So apparently the word is now this is where it gets to this is all the stuff that I said is stuff that everybody agrees on. This is where it gets kind of, we'll know if they actually say it. But apparently it is it's comparable in power to the Xbox Series S. It's supposed to have more RAM than the Xbox Series S, but otherwise it's more like that. So you remember originally everybody was saying it was like the Xbox One X, but now apparently it's a little bit of a bump up.
Okay.
More RAM's like comparable in power to the Xbox Series S with more RAM.
Which is one of the issues that they were running into, so that gets solved. Okay.
And it's compatible. It's going to have NVIDIA stuff in it and it's compatible with the
DLSS.
Yeah, which I hear folks talk about, but I never knew what it was until I read this article last week when all this was coming out. And this, like, again, this is all somebody saying this. Yeah, but it's supposed to have that in it that gives it the capabilities of running 4K 60 frame games.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if it's true, then all of a sudden the Activision thing, Microsoft Activision thing, where they happen to announce that, oh yeah, we're also putting it on.
Oh, yeah, we're bringing
Switch.
it back to Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, now they don't have to work as hard to put it on there.
Which makes a lot of sense if they already knew that that's what they were planning to come out with.
Exactly. So, but yeah, so my understanding of the DLSS is basically like AI type of deal where it takes a game that's not running at that stuff, but kind of makes it run at that stuff.
Yeah, like it gets it to where it should be or where they would like it to be without the game itself being able to do it.
And so I guess that's what they were using Breath of the Wild for.
Oh, to show that it could bring it up?
Yeah. You remember that game didn't run the best on the Switch.
Yeah.
You know, it was a Wii U game. It actually ran better on the Wii U because that's what it was built for. But yeah, they can take that game. By all accounts, they didn't really up-res it a whole lot. So they weren't playing in like a 4K or nothing like that, but it ran smooth. And, you know, that's all I need.
Field of, the FOV. No, well, not field, it's depth was another thing I saw some people talking about. Depth of field. Is what they said it was way better. Mm-hmm. That was one of the things that was really impressive about it. You said what?
Nothing.
Oh.
I said way better.
Way better. But yeah, so that was one of the things I kept seeing too. Was the depth of field, the actual smoothness of everything was much better.
So that's what they use to show off.
Change it up there?
Yeah.
But Tears of the Kingdom already, you know, obviously that game was made for a Switch and it's optimized for the Switch. So a lot of the stuff already works. If you're playing it on a huge screen like I do, you can see where the game will actually turn down some things. Like you'll be climbing up a mountain and some enemies will come down and all of a sudden that rock over there is just a little more pixelated.
Yeah.
Just slightly. but you know, in the grand scheme of it, you don't really see it unless you really look for it.
Yeah.
But that's how that game pretty much, I mean, that game.
Oh, like Pokemon.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's the first thing I thought of too. Is like called the Pokemon effect.
Yeah, but it's not as
that Pokemon over there. Oh, buddy,
it's not quite as stark as that game, though. No,
alleged. So, Pokemon Violet and Scarlet 2, it's gonna be way better, and it's gonna be on the Switch too. So it won't.
I mean,
it won't.
Again, I do not understand how the Pokemon Company didn't go to.
They did.
Monoliths off and say, "Hey, build our open world."
They did.
I know they did, but it
like
was too
2
late.
days before the game release.
Hey,
too late.
Please.
It's like you're both second party companies here. Why don't you just get them to do
like
it?
a week
Everybody
before
else
release.
is getting them to do it.
We can't get this optimization.
They got the actual Switch cartridges already printed up, and they're like, "Hey,
can you fix this?
Can you patch it?"
Monolith is like, no.
So you mean like not right now?
It's like not at all. We got other stuff to do. We're working on finishing up Tears of the Kingdom. You know, because we build open world games for everybody else. You really should have came to us first, but cool. It's fine. Whatever.
We're trying to do it ourselves. We ain't need nobody help.
Apparently.
Now we need your help. We fixed it with DLC and not really. You guys just it sold.
What do you mean you're not supposed to load the whole world at one time?
How are we gonna get to it?
What if they like?
Isn't that why they call it an open world?
What if somebody were to slingshot themselves from one end of this world to the other? What would the game would crash if we didn't load everything up?
Well, it might pause, and then you keep going.
No,
we don't want that.
No, we don't want to pause. We want it to be seamless.
We need people to be immersed.
I mean, hell, even
in our Gumby world,
even Tears of the Kingdom. Sometimes, if you jumped all the way from a sky island down a hole, every now and then you'll hit by halfway through that hole, and the game would have to stop for a second,
just for a moment.
Just for a second, and then
hold up, player. Let me load this shit in.
You trying to go all the way down?
You trying to go all the way down there
from the top to the bottom? All right.
I mean, okay, I got to unload the sky stuff and load this whole underground world. Hold on a second. All right, I'm good. Yeah, but for the most part, seamless.
I appreciate it because a lot of time we spent on like the PlayStation. You'd hear a little
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. It ain't messing up. It's just it do that sometime when you do.
Yeah.
Trying to drive the car too fast on driving from one side of the town to the other.
Yeah. But so I remember the first rumors of the Switch 2 when they were started coming out was that what's the name of that company? The guys that made Dread. They already had their hands on the development kit, and now more companies are said to have it. Ubisoft, which isn't a surprise. If you don't give Ubisoft anything and tell them not to tell anybody, because they're going to tell everybody.
Bro, they have
The Crew about to hit the Switch 2.
First of all,
Bro, you gotta stop pushing this Crew.
First of all, it's wild. That's what you came with. The first Ubisoft game. Because I was just thinking like, oh, they want to put the Assassin's Creed on the Switch.
Oh, yeah,
that makes
sure.
sense. He said, no, they're trying to put the Crew on there.
I mean, why not?
The new thing comes out this week.
I'm sorry, what?
The Crew Motorfest.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only reason it was on my mind.
It's still chugging along. But to a degree, if they said Crew 3 on the Switch, you could just be in handheld mode, you and your boys.
Yeah.
And just jump
online.
in.
Yeah.
That is kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
Sure. I can't front. I'm not going to buy the Crew, okay?
Yeah.
You should probably just let it go. But, it would be a cool selling point.
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, that's right.
Gotta push it back another year because we gotta make sure it gets on the Switch too.
Oh yeah, bro, they're gonna milk that as a thing to cause a lot of issues.
I mean, it ain't coming out till next year anyway, so
We can delay it another 9 months.
possibly.
It's gonna be a Switch 2 launch game.
If they really want it to be a Switch 2 launch game, that's true.
I feel bad. I feel bad for them for some of those games. I do.
It's just, honestly, it's Ubisoft doing. It's like, bro, they used to be one of the best companies out there, and they just
For a while, yeah, they were like
they were top
pushing-
tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just putting out hit after hit after hit. And
I mean, even all right, so we had like the 360 era where you had Assassin's Creed, but then like the Ghost Recon game,
Recons.
like you said, Rainbow Six Vegas,
Yeah.
like bro, it would just be like
everything they touched was gold.
Yeah, it was like
Far Cry.
yes,
Yeah.
dude. It was just if it had Ubisoft, you're like it's going to be solid.
They've almost fallen in this Gearbox.
I was
where
thinking,
yeah.
they haven't really changed anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I mean, I guess they did with the Assassin's Creed
Well,
series.
yeah, I was
but
about to say they
should've-
innovated a little bit.
They should have made it its own series though. Instead
Well, now
of
they
trying to-
kind of are because they say there's
Right.
going to be the more
Assassin's
like-
Creed is.
the new ones coming out are more like the older ones, except for what was it, Jade or whatever,
That's on the
whatever
phone.
weird thing that is. Yeah,
that's on the phone.
and then there's going to be the more RPG one too. So they
Right, they should have
hopefully-
made it a completely different series though. They
Yeah,
shouldn't even
both
put
sides.
the AC name on it.
because the story's already convoluted enough.
Yeah,
You're not helping it.
They messed up the whole story because I was so into the the outside of the past story,
What-
like the stuff that was going on now, and then
Yeah.
they killed
Not
off.
anime stuff.
Yeah,
And they-
where
yeah,
we thought
yeah.
we were gonna get a Desmond game, and then we never got a
Bro,
Desmond
the
game.
Yeah,
speculation
Desmond's
after Assassin's
dead
Creed 1 and 2
I was already mad when they killed off Kristen Bell's character. Is like
immediately.
spoiler, sorry.
It's been long enough, man.
Well, no, she died in 2, right? Or was it in Brotherhood?
She died. I think she dies at the end of 2.
No, I think it was Brotherhood.
Was
because at the end of 2 was when you're talking to the
In
one
two
god,
Desmond's still alive,
and
so.
she and she starts to the camera's like panning in, and she turns toward the camera and she's talking to like you.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there like, hello, I'm right here. Who is this? The Desmond guy you keep talking about. And she's like, shut up, dude. And she's talking directly. I always that was one of the coolest things I'd ever saw. Because as the camera starts panning, her head slowly turns, and she's looking like directly at the camera, and he's like looking behind him like, what? What's going on? But God, yeah, that was the best. Assassin's Creed 2. I still go back and play that game.
Assassin's Creed 2 was like I forced myself to finish Assassin's Creed 1 because
Me too. That was a great game that I felt like they were like, oh, this
was really
is
good
too,
for its
too
time.
short.
no, it was
Yeah.
So the thing that got bad with Assassin's Creed 1 was like when you start that game, like the first 6 hours, it's like, oh, this is just mind blowing.
this is
Like this,
great.
we
Yeah.
hadn't had anything like this. And And then you play for another 2 hours, and you're like, so you're gonna make me do the same thing over and over again.
Yep.
And
but now you gotta get on your horse and ride to this other place
to do all of that again.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey man, it's like, that loop ain't as fun as you think it is.
Yeah, it was a little padded. I felt like that was one of those games like Devil May Cry 4. I felt like they finished the game and they looked at it and was like, yeah, this game's too short.
Which honestly, if Assassin's Creed 1 it would have been like 7 hours.
Yeah, I thought it would have been fine.
Just tell the story.
Because then the part at the end was just like, oh, now we're playing in the real world and doing all this stuff, and it always hinted that there was eventually going to be a game like that.
Like Zach was saying, the Desmond game.
The Desmond
game
that we never got.
Because it was the whole purpose was you were learning. Like on one hand, he was trying to learn. They were trying to get him to tell them where things were.
Yeah,
makes sense, right? But because they kept putting him in the Animus, he was getting the abilities of the assassins, and it's like, oh snaps, he's going to
get all the abilities of all of his ancestors throughout time. Oh, that final game's going to be cool. You'll be able to climb like the dude from 4, and
oh my goodness, you're going to have all these you're going to mix the new technology with the old
the old stuff. Yeah,
it's going to be crazy. And we had already got like we were starting to get like, you play the first one, and then we got Mass Effect. And then you got Assassin's Creed 2, and it was like, oh, you're gonna get these games where like everybody's gonna be doing these long form games where each of the sequels will continue the story, and and then it was like Assassin's Creed, what was it? It wasn't Brotherhood. Was it Unity? The one where they had like they focus on the multiplayer? It might have been Brotherhood.
No, it was Unity.
Okay. And it was like, all right, so what's happening here?
When did they kill Desmond?
4. Black Flag.
So I didn't play 4. 3 was the last one I played.
Yeah. So, I stopped at Unity because I was just like, I'm getting tired, man.
Black Flag was really good.
I really liked 3.
Black Flag is
but it's because it was about the Revolutionary War, and I find that really fascinating.
Which was never been my big topic of history that I've been a big fan of. But
it's revolution, my boy.
Yeah. But I remember playing 3. I played 3 and 4 like back to back because there was a while where for some reason I just didn't play 3. So like 4 came out, and my friends were just like all about 4. They were like,
"Oh, I heard a lot about 4.
Awesome."
I was already checked out though.
So I was like, "Well, I can't play 4 until I play 3." And then I played 3, and it always felt like a step back from like 2. It's like It always felt like an unfinished game. And then I found out after the fact that 3 was originally supposed to be 4, and 4 was originally supposed to be 3, but they couldn't get the boat stuff to work. So they're like, hey, we can't get the boat stuff to work, and that's like over half of the game. Huh.
So after not being able to get the boat stuff to work and getting it to work, they still couldn't figure out how to do Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, exactly. But they basically went and walked down the hall to the team who basically just started development on what would have been 4 and said, hey, we need this game to come out a year early. And they're like, oh, I mean...
I thought it was still a pretty good game for.
It was good because they eventually, you remember there was boat stuff in that game near the end. That's when they got the boat stuff to work. So they put it in the end of that game to kind of introduce it to you when you go play 4, which is the prequel to 3. Yeah, that's why 4 ended up being a prequel when it should have been the sequel.
We call it the Missy Elliott.
Yeah,
you flip it down and reverse it.
Yeah, you play with the son before you play with the father, but whatever. But yeah, it's
no, we were supposed to be talking about the Switch 2. We started ranting about Ubisoft because we have high hopes for them.
Crew 2 for the Switch 2.
Crew 2 for the Switch 2. Bro, if they put the Crew 2 on the Switch 2 instead of making a new one, that would be hilarious.
That would be. It wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, because
Ubisoft.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time anybody puts an older game on whatever Nintendo console's coming out because it's always behind everything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. We could finally do what we wanted to do. Portable Crew 2.
But Ubisoft is pretty. They've always jumped headfirst into whatever new console Nintendo made.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have such a close relationship with, especially with like the Rabbids games and stuff like that.
That's why they were able to make that because of the relationship they already had. Yeah. But you look at the Wii.
Word on the street is though there is going to be a new Rayman announced.
Yes.
Is it going to be like Legends?
Yes, it's supposed to be an actual Rayman, like not a Rabbids game, not a party game, not a weird platform fighter or something that whatever they try to do. Yeah, it's supposed to be a Rayman,
just Rayman a Rayman game.
You know what we haven't gotten in a long time, and I'm kind of surprised. Earthworm Jim.
There was wasn't there a Kickstarter for that?
I know somebody was trying to bring it back, but that's one of those games that I think people think it did better than it actually did.
Well, it did until the 64.
I never even liked the game personally.
It's just a platformer.
That hurt.
All it is it's a platformer.
Yeah.
I think it'd do really well if you remade it. Well, you don't even have to remake it. You can make a brand new one.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rayman Legends and just re-release it for like $20.
I think Earthworm Jim also it encapsulated the 90s really well for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was cool. It was cool animation and all of that stuff, but it just never.
They also overextended themselves like immediately with the brand. So it's like the first game comes out, becomes a hit. It was I think it was Interplay.
Moderate success, yeah.
Yeah. And so it was like, it was moderately successful, but it was like, oh, we might have a new player in the, because it was always who are the mascots.
The mascots, exactly.
Yeah, it was like mascot
Back
wars.
then, it wasn't Interplay. It was Playmates Interactive.
There we go.
Okay.
Is I think the original.
Yeah, that
publisher.
makes sense. And then it was like, oh, this is kind of successful. Let's go balls deep on it, because they had the toys, they had the cartoon. Like, it was just like, let's just jam as much Earthworm Jim at you as possible.
Trying to capitalize on it.
Yeah. And then the second one came out, and the second one wasn't bad, but it was also like more of the same. So it's like, you're going to get some people, but you're also going to, like, you're not going to wow anybody. And then the 64 version came out, and it was just not that good. But that was the game passing them by type of thing that happened to a lot of people when everything went 3D. It's like, you just couldn't do it. I mean, Bubsy 3D just couldn't. Hey, man, listen. I've had to walk back some of my earlier statements about Bubsy upon replaying the first game.
Really?
Bubsy was never as bad as I made it.
He used to think it was like the worst game ever made.
First of all, I never said it was the worst game ever made. I just say Bubsy needed to shut up.
Verbatim, worst game ever made is what he said.
Bubsy was talking while I was trying to play, bro. I'm trying to concentrate, and he talking about, I think I saw Elvis back there. It's like, dude, I'm 7, man. I don't care about Elvis. And also, you can't fall from too high. That was also the thing. Bubsy had fall damage, okay? Oh, wow. On the SNES and Genesis. That was throwing me off. I didn't understand that.
Cratering?
Yeah.
Like a platformer? Come on.
Yeah, it hit the ground. It turns into like the accordion. It's like, wah, 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 wah.
Interesting.
How can you not like that game?
Yeah. I was tripping. I was being a little extra.
I mean, he was no Gex, so.
See,
Gex was okay.
Gex was okay. Yeah.
Gex
see,
was okay.
to me, Gex was like over there with
Croc was better than Gex.
I was gonna put them on the same tier. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
They right under Spyro and Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're not bad.
Yeah.
But I also put Earthworm Jim in that same category with like Gex and Bubsy and all of those and Croc.
Sure.
Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
Yeah.
Tack and the Power of Juju.
Oh God, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, we just sold like so like all those games this weekend. They're a tier below. Then you got, like I said, then you get like Spyro and Crash and all of the like A tiers. And then if you're lucky, which nobody ever gets there anymore, but then there's the Mario tier.
The Mario tier. Yeah.
Sonic is in like purgatory between A and S. Like
Sonic is
sometimes he's in the S tier, right? Sometimes he's there.
He's up
Honestly,
there.
we should one of these days we should rate all the platformers.
I am 110% down for this. We do the next episode?
Yeah, we can. We
Next
can
episode,
rate all the retro platformers.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Where are we gonna stop at? Like PlayStation 2, maybe, or maybe PlayStation 1.
Probably PS1.
Okay, we go to PS1. Yeah, so that means no Jack and Daxter, no Ratchet and Clank. Basically Sony's whole figuring it out after Crash.
Wait, was Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank only PS2?
Started in
Yeah,
PS2.
PS2.
Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper. Like
I'm okay including those.
Like the Sony hit their stride with the PS2.
Yeah, PS2 is when they really started getting the good stuff. But I wonder if they ever look back now and go, we should have kept Crash.
It's the weirdest thing is like
He was their mascot.
He was
for
clearly
the
the biggest
longest
thing.
time.
They tried to make him their mascot. And
What you mean?
Didn't.
They had so many commercials with him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it did. But
him just like knocking people's trays
nobody
down and
cared.
just what you mean?
standing outside of Nintendo's headquarters with the
megaphone
and the actual security guards throwing them out. Yeah,
that was a little much. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it was like he was like WCW.
I know. Yeah, that's exactly what he was like. Yeah,
he was trying to, he's trying to get hey Vince, look at me, Vince. Shigeru, look at me. Talk to me, Shigeru, Mr. Miyamoto-san.
But it's funny how like that and the Spyro games, like that Spyro collection just sold 10 million copies.
The collections end up doing way better than they at least my projection for, because I always felt like,
me too.
Now Microsoft owns it.
Yeah, well, because you sometimes you can overestimate the nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
And like Crash was always like I enjoyed the first 3 Crash games.
I hated the Crash Bandicoot games.
Like,
absolutely,
I wasn't a fan of
couldn't
Crash.
stand them. Don't understand what anybody likes about it. I'm sorry.
So the first game was side scrolling. It was very weird. Mm-hmm. Then they finally figured the second game they put the behind the camera stuff,
Which I hated. But yeah.
Well, it gave it its own, like, because it didn't have an identity. When it was a side scroll in the first game, it was just like, so instead of rings or coins, you're collecting fruit. Sure.
Yeah.
But then when they made it behind the shoulder, when it gave it its own kind of like flavor and stuff like that, you could do the boulders chasing you stuff and all of that. Mm-hmm. 3 was really like to me is the best version of Crash, just because they took like what worked, they added the racing, like on the tiger levels, and like the bosses really started to feel different. But I also understood that like if you didn't have a PlayStation, or even if you had a PlayStation, it wasn't a guarantee you played Crash. Versus if you had a Nintendo, you play Mario. Like it's gonna happen. But
that's why you get it.
Yeah, like that was the one thing, and I don't think they ever really did like the bundles like that with Crash for the PlayStation.
Not for the PlayStation. I don't think.
Like he didn't have like I said, you get a 64, you're gonna get Mario, or you're gonna get Mario Kart, like,
or Smash now.
Yeah, or Smash, or like even back then it was like, you're probably gonna get a Mario game when you got your system by default. Mm-hmm. So that was another thing that pushed it to be just a little more iconic. Yeah. Also the sales, you never quite gonna sell what Mario sells. Let it go, bud.
Unfortunately.
But he had greatest hits though. He was on the greatest hits list.
Yeah.
Sometimes we fudge the numbers for greatest hits.
And these remakes did very well.
Yeah. And like you said, Zach, now it's in that Microsoft Studios. Which I don't understand why they haven't well, actually it's not official yet, right? It's not official.
Is it not yet?
Yeah, I don't think the Activision, like it's in process, but it's not.
It's still not. Yeah, they haven't signed on the lines. Yeah, there's still some stuff in Europe they're trying to shore up before they go with it, because Ubisoft had to be added to the
they're part of the Call of Duty license now.
Yeah.
How?
It's very weird.
It's weird, but it's to appease the the CMA in Europe
for cloud gaming.
For the you remember they said their big concern was the cloud gaming stuff. So this way Microsoft.
Dude, that sucks that you're getting penalized for doing something well when nobody else can.
It's like, so you're the only one that's doing it okay, because it's not even like the greatest thing. It's just not bad.
Exactly. And it's for some reason that was their hang up for it. So they were like, well, what if we share it with Ubisoft? And Ubisoft is like, what? Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, cool. So,
well, I mean, Ubisoft is based in Europe. So
yeah, exactly. They're a European company that that has a vested interest in them not releasing something on everything.
Yep.
Because Ubisoft works for everybody.
Yep.
So if they're part of it and they're part of the Microsoft deal, then there'll be the European company who guarantees that this stuff will be for everybody, because they have to release everything for everybody. So once that's all shored up, it should be done. I remember hearing they gave them a deadline of the end of August, but I guess they extended that again.
Wait, so are they saying that they won't have any exclusives under the Activision name?
No, it's Call of Duty.
Just Call of Duty?
I mean, yeah, that's what it all boils down to.
So they can technically make a Spyro or a Crash game.
Yes.
And it'd be exclusively for the Xbox.
Yep.
More or less, yeah.
I don't think they would, but they could.
Yeah. I mean, the theory of it is, they could.
Yeah.
It's too scary if Microsoft owns Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like that was their whole thing, is like if they have Call of Duty and we can't make them put it on anything, then what? Like Sony basically was like, what reason would somebody have to buy a PlayStation if they can't get Call of Duty? It's like that's not how this works, and you know it. But that was their argument. Is like if Microsoft decided to make it exclusive, people wouldn't have a reason to buy a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Because Call of Duty's that big to them.
And again, though,
I mean, there are people that only play Call of Duty and that's all they play. So
right.
I kind of get that.
But again, even Sony admitted
it's
during
very
the whole thing that
hyperbolic.
they never thought Microsoft was actually going to do that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense. It would financially, it would not make sense to do that.
Yeah.
Plus,
no way around.
And I don't think, honestly, Microsoft's going to even touch Call of Duty at all.
No.
I think they're just going to hey, y'all keep doing your thing.
Keep doing your thing, man. Until it absolutely doesn't work. Right. Even if you have a Vanguard in there every once in a while, until it completely doesn't work, do your thing.
Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah.
Now they're gonna go over to the other stuff in Blizzard and be like, all right, so let's talk about this stuff. Okay.
Like I said, I really hope that they have a plan for possibly bringing World of Warcraft to console. But
I can see that being top of the list.
The thing that I really hope for, and I really don't think they're going to do anything with it, is Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
I think they have a real shot of making like the first like really good console MOBA with Heroes of the Storm.
Well, you have you have a base. The base of the game wasn't bad. There were some things that they just have to figure out to make better and make more user friendly, and like just obviously convert it over to controllers. But
honestly, I would say make it strictly console. Make it where there's no mouse and keyboard support.
Well, I don't know if I go that far.
Right. It'd probably cut off a lot of people, but
yeah.
Well, if you
make your main focus for console.
If you make it for console, but give the mouse and keyboard functionality, which is what they do with like Call of Duties and stuff.
Yeah.
Then I think it would have a higher chance of being fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to push it as the console mobile, I think it would be a great idea. The amount of stuff you could do with like Hearthstone on the consoles and stuff.
Well, I mean, even with back to Heroes of the Storm, you could even add Microsoft characters to it.
Yeah, I mean, you should.
I mean,
Master Chief needs to pop up.
Right. Yeah. The launch of
the Locust needs to be,
Master Chief needs to be there with launch. Master Chief and Arbiter.
Yes.
Should be there during launch.
Hell, put him in Overwatch.
Who, Master Chief?
You'll get the Soldier 76 Master Chief skin.
Master Chief skin,
yeah. It'll be I think you'll get a skin more so than a Master Chief.
Yeah.
Would be funny though if they put
Here's the Storm is made for a bunch of different types of characters.
Well,
Overwatch is its own.
See the Arbiter over there with the plasma sword next to Reinhardt. Like, we did it. I got the goofy pose when I win with him.
So,
well, before we head out, because we're supposed to be talking about the Switch too, we just kept getting sidetracked.
I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about.
I mean,
before we round it up, when do we think that we'll see like the announcement? We still thinking VGAs now?
No.
Yeah.
No,
March.
I'm thinking it's not coming out till, personally, I think it's already been said latter half of next year. So I'm thinking October.
Yeah.
No. He said, when are they going to announce it?
Like show.
No. So I'm thinking that's around when, and I'm thinking they're going to try to do the same thing with this one that they did for the Switch, because everything they did for the Switch worked. They announced that thing 6 months, 6 months before it came out, kind of surprising everybody. And it's like, hey, we have this new console coming out. Whoa. Hey, it'll be out in like 6 months. Whoa. So
the way you should do announcements.
However, of course, everybody's going to be hearing about it.
That's what I'm saying. They probably announced it in March.
So, So I'm thinking the spring.
It'd be a direct that you find out the day before.
Most definitely.
Their spring direct. They're gonna announce a 45-minute direct that's gonna talk about first party things, and they're gonna try to downplay it. And that's all the headlines is gonna be. They're about to announce the new.
Oh, it's gonna come out the next time they announce a direct that's more than 10 minutes.
Yep.
Switch U.
Oh God, no.
We were so close. I actually want it. I want it. I want the Switch U.
No, please,
lock it in.
God, no.
What do you mean?
No. Well,
this time is different.
Some of the other stuff that some folks have said about the Switch 2 as well that saw at Gamescom were saying is like Nintendo clearly listened to what folks wanted, and they've learned from the past.
When you say the past, you talking about the Wii U?
The Wii U.
Okay.
Yeah, basically. They've learned. It's
great
like,
system.
It was great games on it and everything. However, it's like don't confuse the audience.
How come?
Make it, just make it what it is. The Switch already worked. All everybody really wants is just a more powerful Switch, and it sounds like that's exactly what they did. It's
one of the Joy-Cons and stuff will be compatible.
For the old one, I see hardware stuff is hard to say because it's supposed to be backward compatible.
They've been pretty compatible with their
Yeah, because you
had
can still
GameCube
use
controllers on the Wii.
on the Wii.
You can use the Wii remotes on the Wii U.
Wii remotes on the Wii U, and
The
You can't use the tablet on the Switch though.
Right, but the big change was when it went from Wii U to Switch, nothing was compatible.
Yeah, they had to make the change, but it was the change for the better. And but all the old games play it, but there's supposed to be also a new cart format too.
So it's gonna be like the 3DS, where you could put the DS games in the 3DS, but then the 3DS games had like a little
yeah.
That's fine.
So it's supposed to be different carts now, but it's still cart based.
SD cards are getting huge. I mean, they can store so much now.
I wouldn't be surprised if you can take your old controllers and use it for the new one, which, third party hardware makers are probably going to be pretty upset about. Well, that's bullcrap. I'm not going to be able to sell any of the new stuff. Oh, well, boo-hoo. Their stuff barely worked on the Switch when it came out anyway. Especially their cradles. Nobody could figure out quite how to get that thing to work without trying to burn out the USB-C. Something Nintendo did with it where nobody else could figure out how to do it.
Diabolical.
Yeah. But I'm sure it'll still be all like that. But I mean, yeah, if it's just a more powerful Switch that can run 4K games at 60 frames, I think that'll be enough.
Yeah, no, it should be. Yeah. I think we may get a teaser for not necessarily the system, but we might see a game announced by Nintendo that ends up being the what do they call it, the swan song of the Switch.
Well, yeah, but it's like not next gen, but cross gen.
Yes.
Because obviously, Tears of the Kingdom will have been out for over a year by the time it comes out. But
they're going to get a port. You already know they're going to get a port.
I don't even think it's going to be a port. I think they're
you just put the Switch version in, and
just going to I think it's just going to up-res the game, which would be cool if it just does that. If that's how the DLSS stuff works, and they can just take the old games and just make them run good, go for it.
Cool beans.
So yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if next spring there's a direct. They try to downplay it, just like they're only going to show some new games and stuff like there's some exciting news for Switch software and this, that, and the other. And they're going to show a game that looks a little too good, and then it's like, this is going to run on our new console, the Switch U.
The Switch U.
It's like, God, I swear to God.
Yes.
I swear to God.
I need to turn the volume up to 1,000.
Do not do it again. Make it clear that this is new hardware, that you will be buying new hardware, and it is a completely separate system. You're not just buying new things to slide on the side and you have a Switch U.
But what if you do? What if that's what it is?
By some accounts too, the handheld it will not have an OLED screen. It'll just be like the regular Switch again, but it's supposed to run at 1080p. But all that's not confirmed or nothing yet. So that's everything I know about it.
All right,
I've heard.
Well, we got to get out of here. We're running out of time. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us this week, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Crossover combination.